With your permission, I'd like to briefly highlight 5 priorities outlined in the statement that's already been included in the record. But first, I'd like to introduce the members of my family who are here today, who have shared the adventures and the hardships of a 28-year career in the Foreign Service with me, my wife, Judy, and 2 of our daughters, Sarah and Katie. Mr. Chairman, if confirmed, I would focus on 5 broad priorities. First, the issues arising from the war in Vietnam, that is, the accounting for U.S. personnel missing in action and the removal of unexploded ordnance, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, and I welcome the cooperation of the Lao government in both of these efforts. We've made great progress in accounting for missing personnel, locating and returning the remains of 266 missing to their loved ones, and will continue to search for the 309 still missing. We've also made good progress in clearing unexploded ordnance, educating affected communities, and assisting the victims. Last year, casualties were reduced to 56, down from an annual average of 300, and we have increased annual funding for the program from $5 million to $9 million. Another high priority for me will be promotion of human rights and the rule of law, a central pillar of the administration's foreign policy. If confirmed, I will continue our efforts to help Laos reform its legal and regulatory systems and to speak forthrightly about incidents such as the recent disappearance of Laos civil society leader Sambat Sampon and the return of 9 young asylum seekers to North Korea. Continued cooperation in the areas of health, counter-narcotics, and the environment will also be a priority for me, including existing efforts to control infectious diseases, new efforts to address very high rates of child and maternal mortality, and support of Laos and other countries in the region on plans to construct dams on the main stem of the Mekong River. The Mekong underpins the livelihood of nearly 70 million people, and if confirmed, I will encourage cooperation between U.S. and Lao experts to minimize the impact of dams on local populations, habitat, and wildlife. I will also work to strengthen people-to-people ties. With 70% of the Lao population under the age of 30, I intend to focus on building ties with students, young professionals, and government officials. Finally, increasing U.S. trade and investment will also be a priority for me. The U.S. ranks 13th on the list of foreign investors in Laos and accounts for just 1% of its foreign trade. Laos joined the World Trade Organization earlier this year, and we are helping it to implement the reforms necessary to meet its WTO obligations. And I will work to acquaint U.S. businesses with the new opportunities this offers and encourage them to do more business in Laos. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, if confirmed, I look forward to working with the committee and other interested members of Congress to advance U.S. interests in Laos. Thank you again for the opportunity to appear before you today, and I'm pleased to answer any questions you might have.